Alright guys, back with another video for you today. I've got Andy here.
Hello everybody.
Do you go by Andy or Andrew?
Andy.
Andy?
Yeah, Andy.
So Andy works for ZGO Perfumery. You can always go say hi to him if you guys are local. But today we're talking about a brand that's carried at ZGO Perfumery called Jorum Studio. We're going to talk about 3 different fragrances plus a bonus fragrance. If you're curious to learn about this house, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. This is Andy.
Hello everybody.
We're talking about Jorum Studio. Are you familiar with this house? Let us know what your favorite fragrances are from Jorum Studio. I discovered this house several years ago. I didn't get to experience their fragrances until last year. First, I discovered their fragrances at Pitti Fragranza in Florence, and then in December of last year, December of last year, I went to their store in Edinburgh, in Scotland, and walked out with a fragrance called Paradisi. But today we're talking about Arborist, Spiritcask, and Gorseland. And in the bonus section, we're going to talk about Paradisi. So what do you think about this brand?
Super cool. Very unique house for sure. They do a lot of really fun stuff. Definitely not anything typical or crowd pleasing, I wouldn't say, but they're doing a lot of really cool combinations with their fragrances. So I'm a fan.
You're a fan?
Yes, I'm a fan.
I would consider this niche fragrances
For
rather
sure.
than mass appealing niche fragrances. There are some out there kind of fragrances, and I really like their greens. They do great work with green fragrances. And I hadn't discovered Spiritcask until this year. I saw the brand again at Pitti Fragranza last September. And for some reason, I tested Spiritcask, which we're going to talk about, and I put it on in the heat of Florence's September weather, and it was such a beautiful blooming effect on me. The fragrance just bloomed and sweetened up. It became this really beautiful boozy fragrance. So we're going to talk about it today.
Cheers.
But the first one we're going to talk about today is Arborist. Arborist is a very interesting fragrance. This is it right here. What I like about Jorum Studio's fragrances are they're really nice, compact little bottles. They can fit in a purse or a bag or a duffel bag or maybe in your desk drawer or something.
Right.
And whenever you need a little spritz, you can spritz it on and then enjoy the day. But Arborist is a very unique fragrance. It features notes of saffron, myrrh, absolute, Douglas fir, spruce, resin, Jatamansi, Labdanum, Papyrus, Malt, Lichen, Osmanthus absolute, Quince, honey, Magnolia, Burdock, Mugwort, Rose absolute, and Tuberose. When you read the notes for fragrances from Jorum Studio, you're always going to come to a note that you probably are not familiar with.
Right.
For example, Jatamansi. Do you know what this is?
I can't say I do, to be honest with you.
I think it's nard.
Nard.
But what is nard?
Yeah, what is nard is the real question.
This is a very unique fragrance in that it becomes leathery and spicy, and it gets a little sweaty as well, but I like the fact that you got this kind of leathery effect happening from the saffron, and you also have these kind of piney fir kind of notes in here, like Douglas fir, spruce, resin, and things like that. But when you're wearing this fragrance, there's a cumin effect that develops on skin, gives you that kind of sweaty vibe. So that might be a bit off-putting for some people, but I really like the way that happens on me. It's leather in the end, basically. That's what I get with this, but a very spicy leather.
Right. And I think having that sweaty cumin note can sometimes be mistaken for almost like an animalic-like note in a way.
Yeah, I agree.
But like you said, very earthy, very resinous, very aromatic as well, and so many very unique notes put into this that it's quite unique.
Yeah, and another thing with this one, the fact that there's a lot of saffron that takes on the kind of a Middle Eastern fragrance characteristic, because saffron's used quite a bit in Middle Eastern fragrances, so it's definitely kind of a prominent smell in this. I quite like this one.
Me too. Saffron giving it to like a nice, a little bit of a leatheriness as well is what I noticed the saffron note doing for it.
Yeah, for sure. But also, it might become a bit one-dimensional because all the notes are very similar, but just give it a try. It develops really nicely, pleasantly on skin, and it does get ambery, it does get woody and spicy, but for me, it's mostly about the leather with that kind of cumin sweatiness, which is quite nice.
For sure.
Yeah. Do you guys have fans of this one in the store?
Of course, yes. Everybody that loves that like niche stuff that you were saying, something that's not going to be very atypical. People love this house. It's the first one I'd recommend for them to mess around with. So
Cool. Alrighty, next we're talking about Spiritcask, this one right here. It's interesting, when I visited the Jorum Studio Boutique in Edinburgh, I went through their whole entire collection, and I don't recall smelling this for some reason, because I love boozy fragrances, but maybe it has to be the right time to smell something to really shine at you. And in September, just past September at Pitti Fragranza, this one really called me, and I thought, wow, this is really great. For me, when you first spray it though, there's this very interesting boozy sweet honey lozenge vibe, kind of like when you're sick and you're sucking on lozenges for your throat, that kind of honeyed. It does take that kind of an effect, but it develops into a really gorgeous boozy fragrance. So it has notes of whiskey, lactone, cognac, rum, malt, pear, bourbon vanilla, oak wood extract, chamomile, jasmine, ylang-ylang, coffee, labdanum, caramel, maple, cocoa, cedarwood, gaiac wood. And that's the thing with the brand. They do list all their notes, which is great because you get to learn what a fragrance is all about. But this is really good, delicious.
oh my gosh, I love this. First thing I think of is literally putting my head inside of like an old whiskey barrel that's kind of been sitting for a while. So it's like very woody, boozy. Like you said, there's some really nice amber touches and I would say fairly gourmand as well. But wow.
Yeah.
I'm a huge
Do
fan.
you get any tobacco-ish vibe with this?
I do for sure. I think it is that mix of the woods and the booziness that almost give it like a tobacco-like, almost could be a little bit incensey, I guess you could say.
To me, this is more before burned tobacco, like if you've opened up a cigar box and that smell. That's what I get with this
For
one.
sure.
It's quite nice. Yeah, sometimes you don't want that cigarette smoke, ashy smoke tobacco. This is basically that cigar box, but with all the booze around it.
For sure.
That's
No, I get
such
that.
a great fragrance. Yeah, Spiritcask has become a favorite of mine from this house. I absolutely love it. I'm not sure if it's beat out Paradisi yet, but it's quite beautiful.
It's a runner-up for sure.
Runner-up for sure, yeah. All right, and the last one we're talking about is Gorseland, this one right here. This is a fragrance featuring a lot of unique notes once again, and it features gorse flower, elderflower, lemons, kush, neroli oil, chamomile, lavender, pineapple weed, crab apple, astilbe, gooseberry, milk vetch, catchfly, woodruff, gorsewood, zdravets. What is that?
That's a great question.
So these are really unique notes from this particular fragrance. I looked up what gorse is. Gorse is a yellow-flowered shrub of the pea family, the leaves of which are modified to form spines native to Western Europe and North Africa. But I didn't really look up the other notes. But this one is also, once again, it's kind of a distant relative to Paradisi because it has that kind of greenness in here, but it's not quite green like Paradisi is.
No, I love the Gorseland, to be honest with you. The pineapple weed is a very interesting note because it's not like a juicy pineapple that you'd get from the fruit. It's like it's almost like the stem of a pineapple, like the tops of it. If you were to smell the outside of it, is what I would describe it as.
Yeah, there's a lot of fruitiness here. There's definitely aromatic and herbal touches. Very spicy. Floral qualities mixed in for sure, and it is mostly yellow flowers. It has that herbal presence. It's just like a distant relative, not necessarily even a distant relative to Paradisi. Paradisi is all green, ozonic, aquatic, earthy. This one is above more, like rather than Paradisi being on the floor of the earth, this one goes up to the flowers and the trees and shrubs and fruits as well. So kind of from the same garden basically, but less earth, more flowers and fruits and things like that. Beautiful fragrance though.
You get a little bit cushy too. A little bit of a cannabis note in there as well, right?
Yeah, it's got that kind of camphor like vibe, but it's a very fresh fragrance. Really wonderful. Great house, great creations, and I'm curious to, dig into their fragrances further. And again, if you like niche perfumery with the real word of niche, that's definitely check out Jorum Studio. We've got a lot of niche fragrances, but they've all become a lot mass appealing fragrances But if you're definitely into the whole idea of niche, definitely check out Jorum Studio. And the brand is sold at ZGO Perfumery. If you're local, you can go check them out there or order samples on their website. Thanks so much for coming by to do this video.
For sure.
Guys, if you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. All right, and last but not least, we've got a bonus option for you guys here, once again from Jorum Studio. It's Paradisi, this one right here. This is the fragrance I purchased from the Jorum Studio store. As you can see, it's numbered.
Yeah.
We can't get that thing focused whatsoever. What is the deal with this? But anyway, it is numbered. This has notes of soil, grapefruit, tree moss, absolute, cucumber, guava, rhubarb, passion flower, honeysuckle, pink pepper, magnolia, orange, and pear, mushroom, cedarwood, patchouli. Lots of stuff, huh?
Crazy stuff too. I love the fact that they're using a mushroom note in here. I feel like they're trying to add a really like earthy like quality with almost like a fungalness to it. Also with the tree moss absolute, which is very like woody floral. Sorry, not floral. Very like woody and green.
Yeah. If you like very green fragrances that's also earthy, you must get your nose on this one. This could be like a very distant relative to something like Orza El Legrand's Chypre Mousse, which is also featuring mushroom and earthy notes like soil tincture and things like that. This one gets more citrusy and fruity though, but such a beautiful fragrance. Oh my God, that's amazing.
I love this.
Okay, Paradisi is still my favorite.
Still the
Spiritcask number 2.
He's been knocked down. Yeah, as well as the guava and the grapefruit work so well together with those two citruses pairing so nicely. And the cucumber giving it like a kind of a freshness too that I really enjoy.
But do you get the rhubarb, did you say?
Yeah, I do get quite a bit of the rhubarb as well.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
The guava, for me, guava is like a creamy fruit, whereas grapefruit is more like a zingy, bitter, spicy citrus fruit.
Right.
And I think this one has quite a bit of prominency with the grapefruit. It's almost like a nice contrast with all that earthiness of the soil and the juicy, zingy citrusiness of the grapefruit. And then along the way, you got other notes like the tree moss. The cucumber adds this kind of watery effect, an ozonic effect. Rhubarb giving you that very interesting fruitiness with the vegetal vibe. A lot of great stuff in this fragrance.
Great creation. I'm a huge fan of this.
I think I can call this a masterpiece.
I would agree.
I don't like to call fragrances masterpieces, but this one... Definitely.
Very deserving of the title.
It's such a great fragrance. Paradisi from the house of Jorum Studio. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for another video soon. Bye-bye.